My guest today doesn't seem to have enough with six strings, a neck and a body. He basically carries a whole band along with him on his guitar. Born in Russia, but now based in Germany. He's a true guitar wizard. Welcome to this episode, Alex Misko. You can ring the gong now.
Hey everyone! Hey Niels, nice to meet you. Not to see you here again in Amsterdam, and it's a pleasure to be at your podcast.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we bumped into each other at the Guitar Summit in Mannheim, and we chatted there briefly. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm doing well. My first time at the Guitar Heaven in Amsterdam, a really nice exhibition. I'm here with Baton Rouge guitars, and we're just having fun. We just arrived yesterday. Gonna leave tomorrow, unfortunately. Would love to spend a bit more time in Amsterdam, but it is what it is. A bit rainy, a bit dark there outside, but here inside all the friends, and it's nice. I love it here.
Hey, we're going to talk about guitars and life.
Amazing.
Yeah, I just mentioned born in Russia, but how many years have you been living in Germany now?
Well, not that many. So I moved to Germany last year in 2023.
Okay.
But to me, I don't feel like I moved there like last year, because I've been traveling and touring since I was like 17 or 18 when I was still living in Russia. And I was touring quite a lot, especially before COVID. I mean, we all did better before COVID than now.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of concerts, and Germany was my first country where I played like outside my homeland in 2017. And that was my first travel. So Germany is actually that was Guitar Summit. That was my first trip to anywhere outside Russia. I got an invitation from people from Guitar Summit. That was the very first Guitar Summit that they arranged. That was nothing before. And in 2017, I got invited. And since then, I've been touring so much in Germany. So traveling back and forth. So I was traveling to Germany, to like America, to Asia, and always going back home. And I don't know, throughout the time, I developed very strong connection to, found a lot of friends in Germany. So when I moved to here, to Germany, it didn't feel like it's something new to me. It's like, okay, now I can finally settle down. Now I don't have to, because that's the best feeling is when you move, because it was, especially, we can talk about it later, how hard it was, because I had to leave because of the mobilization danger and because of all the war things that Russia started.
Yeah, because I did a 1+1 in my head. I thought it must have something to do with that as well.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is, when I moved, when I finally managed to find a place to stay in Germany, not only the place, but the visas and all the paperwork is crazy. It took like 2 years just to get the right visas and papers. And it was just so nice to feel that this place where I live now, it's like, it's not a hotel room, it's not Airbnb where I have to put all my things, and I know that, okay, I might stay here for a week or two, and then I need to pack everything until all the shelves are super empty and to go to another part of the world. And so I always felt unwelcomed, especially because of the visa things, not because of the people, because of the visas. Because it's not that easy to move. I mean, they don't want you to stay for too long. And I always had these visas where your time is limited, no matter where you go. So Turkey, I don't know, Asia, Germany, America, they don't want you to stay for too long. Even if you don't do anything bad, even if you want to work there or live there and you want to bring good to people, it's really hard paperwork wise. And that's why, I felt after so much traveling, especially because of the war, I felt a bit unwelcomed. But then finally I could stay, and I'm like, wow, that's my new home.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about your hometown. I have to look it up how I pronounce it actually.
Krasnodar.
Krasnodar.
Yeah.
What kind of place is that? It's a relatively big city, but tell me.
It's a really good city to live. I'm actually very lucky to be born there, thanks to my parents. It's in the very southern part of Russia. So when we speak about Russia, probably people know where Moscow and St. Petersburg are. They are all the way up, kind of in the northern part. And if you are in Moscow, and if you take 25-hour bus ride all the way down, you're going to end up in Krasnodar. So all the way down, just a straight line like this. So is obviously, it means that I'm in the very south, in the deep south. And it's like, there's barely any snow. There's plus 45 degrees in summer, kind of like in Beijing in a way. And it's like, it's not it's not your typical Russia that you can think of, like with snow and bears and stuff. It's like, it's a very modern, very well developed city. And also it's crazy hot there. It's like, it's almost summer the whole year long. Mm-hmm. And moreover, there's a good airport. It's kind of a wealthy city because all this kind of western part of Russia is nicely developed. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of people, and everything that goes to the eastern side, it's that then things get progressively worse and worse and worse. So I got lucky that I was born there, that I could travel easily from my hometown to all around the world, and I felt really good because, like, okay, you live in Russia, everything is good, the airport is closed, and I travel to anywhere, and I always go back home. But then, well, the war started, Russia started the war against the Ukraine, and well, I had to leave.
But how was the music scene there? Because you started out as a classical guitar player, right? And you recently released an album with people from the same city. That's true, right? So you're still in touch with them. Can you tell me something about how you developed there as a player, as a young player?
Well, I really appreciate you mentioning that album that we released. Thank you for taking your time to listen. I'm really proud of it. And so the music scene was nothing much really, because like what we do in general, this kind of weird guitar modern style, is like, it's not super popular, and you have to promote it yourself. You have to play and play and play. And I started indeed as a classical guitarist, but I was just a shy person, shy schoolboy. I was like 16 or 15, and I was just going to this private classical lessons for a few years. I'm really grateful to my teacher, because my teacher managed to give me all the fundamentals, like how to sit, how to hold your hands, how to feel that if there's any pain happening or something. Of course, I still had to learn, like, have to study myself for 10 more years afterwards and improve and refine my things. But he managed to give me the basics so I could learn further by myself as autodidact. Yeah. And the thing is, then it was nothing much. So I was just doing this classical stuff after my school. I was never really interested in that. Then I learned about fingerstyle on the internet. Then I started to learn fingerstyle like crazy. Then in a couple of years, I realized that, okay, I learned everything from the internet, just checking how other people do it. Like my biggest inspirations, like Don Ross, Mike Dawes, John Gom, Preston Reed, Thomas Leap, and others. And I was thinking, okay, what if I upload some videos on the internet? And nothing happened. So I uploaded some videos and I recorded them on a very cheap photo camera, not even the video camera. Those videos are still on my channel, and nothing happened. And then I was just played a few concerts at school. I was always shy. I didn't know what to do with that. I was thinking, okay, well, I just kind of gonna get a education, gonna get a normal job. I didn't have any plan.
Yeah. What kind of direction were you thinking?
Well, when I was finishing the school, we were thinking, and this is also something that's not cool. I think if I could pursue music better, because there was two options. I could try to go to music school and to pass the exams there. Like it's called, it's possible to do when you learn everything by yourself, and then you just go there, you pass the exams, and you can get the paper, and then you can go to conservatory if you want to. Yeah. So you don't have to spend 4 more years at music school if you already know something by yourself. But me and my parents and me decided that, well, probably it's a bit too sketchy. I mean, what a musician would do, it's an unstable job, blah, blah, blah.
I know that I talk with many guests about the role of parents at crossroads like this. And it's quite important.
The thing is, what I find important is that they don't wish you bad. It doesn't mean that they don't believe it. It's just because it means that in their times, indeed, becoming office worker was indeed much more stable. But the times have changed, but their perception of the world didn't, and it's normal.
But what did you feel about that advice? Like, okay, you know, they want the best for you, but at the same time, your heart must have kind of pushed you in a different direction. Like, was it a dilemma for you maybe? Like,
well, you're right that my heart was pushing me into the music direction, but I just followed not really their advice. I just didn't know what to do. And I was thinking, okay, well, the easiest would be, I was kind of already good with English at that time. And I was thinking, I'm just going to go study linguistics. Because after, I still have 4 years to decide what to do afterwards. If I don't find anything else to do, I can just be a private English teacher, something like that, which is, I mean, probably not that bad. But during that time, when I was studying in the university, obviously I had thousands of opportunities to stop doing music because it was just a hobby at that moment. But I was still doing videos. I was still playing. I still had like a couple of concerts in Russia. So it was really hard to promote. I was playing this kind of a small bars for like 10, 15 people. I started to build some following. So some people started to get to know me, but it was just, you could not sustain anything. There was no money in it. There was no prospects, no ambition about it, because it's extremely hard to promote this kind of music. There was just no audience. I felt like nobody's interested. And like, okay, well, but the internet is big enough to find people who are actually interested in that. And well, my story basically starts from there, where I realized that there's no reason to play concerts in my hometown, but it's better to focus on doing videos. Even though I was studying linguistics at that time, I still was putting a lot of efforts into producing videos, into recording music, uploading it on the internet. And then after like 50, 60 videos, a couple of videos went viral on Facebook, on YouTube. I started to get my first offers to play in other countries, and then slowly but surely connections. And that was my story. But again, it's like, unfortunately, it's really hard to apply this story to now, because it was in 2016, 17. Yeah. Internet has changed. YouTube has changed.
But okay, let me think, because you're studying and basically following your parents' advice, but at the meantime, also following your heart by uploading videos, playing music, and opening it up to the world. So that slowly progressed into something like, okay, now it's an alternative to linguistics, and let's really go there.
Kinda. That wasn't really my parents' advice. It's like we kind of decided on it together. And you gotta understand that I wasn't ambitious at all. I wasn't like, no, we're gonna be fighting for that. I want to do music. I was like, whatever. I don't know what to do. It's like, I was thinking like, do some music. Am I like the best to ever do it? No. Are there any money in it? Not really. What to do with that afterwards, even if I finish music school? Do I really want to work as a music teacher at the music school for like very little money? I don't know. So it was like, I was just following the stream, I was just follow how it's called. Well, when I just go with the flow, let's say. That's the right expression. So like, whatever happens, I'm just gonna go along. And but the thing is, as I said, what I think I got lucky about is that despite the fact that I could stop doing music at any moment, it was still such a big passion of mine. So I was kept doing that. And the thing is that my parents were always supportive about it. So it's not like we had fights you have to study linguistics and never do music. No, they were always supportive. And then at some point I realized that, okay, I still have a couple of years of university to finish. I had 4 years, and I graduated in 2019. Right before the COVID. And at the same time, in the last 2 years of university, I was mostly traveling. So I was not even attending university anymore, because I realized that, okay, now I get these offers because of my videos. So, to play concerts in America, in Europe, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I have two options now. It's either I tell all these people, you know what, I need to focus on my studies. Let's talk about it in 2 years. But obviously, what happens when you talk to people like that. You become irrelevant at some point. Their offer would become irrelevant in 2 years. I would be like, hey, remember me? We wanted to do something together 2 years ago, and nobody would want to do it anymore, because you got to catch these opportunities right here and right now, even if it feels risky. And I wasn't thinking that deeply about it. I was just like, okay, well, there's an offer. I want to go there. I'm going to go. There's another one. Oh, I want to go there. I'm going to go. And studies. Yeah, I'm going to finish it somehow, some way. I don't have to be the best linguist in the world. And that's how I did that. So I was touring a lot. At the same time, when I was getting back home, I was trying to catch up with the university, like at least trying to do something there. And I managed to graduate. I'm not the best linguist in the world, but I managed to graduate. I have my paper. Yeah. And then afterwards, after I've graduated, I could fully dedicate myself to music. And my parents have always been supportive to this day.
You mentioned you uploading these videos. What do you think made you stand out? Because there's, besides, okay, you're a great player. That's obvious. But what do you think helped you in that?
Well, it's hard to say, because it's hard to see it's hard to realize what other people see in me, like how their perception, because I know how I see myself, how I perceive myself, like how I'm being like super picky and perfectionist about things and things like that. But I think in general, it was just a new face at the time, which is very nice to have. Like sometimes it's just nice to be a new face in the community, somebody who's young, somebody who's hardworking, passionate. And there was a lot of pretty technical things that I was doing. So I think technically it was impressive at that moment of time, 2016, 17. I play much simpler music now but back then it was really all about like, so many things at the same time. Like it was not fun to play. Like I hated playing that. I mean, I realized that later that when you go on stage and it's too hard to play, it's not fun at all. So now.
So how important is that fun factor? Because you can think, okay, what can I do technically to make something more interesting? But there must be a turning point, right? Like, now it's not fun anymore.
Well, I think there should be a balance, because you might go too deep into the direction of everything should be fun, but then okay, let's play punk rock, just a couple of power chords and that's it. Well, that actually works. I mean, there's a much bigger interest and much bigger scene for punk rock than for fingerstyle, because it works. It's simple, but it's catchy. It's good music, and it doesn't matter if it's technical or not. If it's a good music, I think this is something important to keep in mind. The good music doesn't have to be super technical or even like. Yeah, super technical. But another thing is that it should be fun to play, but at the same time, it should be still pushing your boundaries in a way and pushing your limits. Because, okay, you can make everything punk rock, play 3 chords, easy, fun, comfortable. But if you want to push yourself a little bit, okay, I can add this, I can add that, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. And then at some point, you realize that you're starting to add too much. So it's not fun anymore when it becomes overly complicated. And I think, well, what I do on stage, you want to move, you want to make eye contact with the people, you want to make sure you still press the right pedals at the right time with your feet. And there's so much work to do, and you still want to make it fun. You don't want to look like you're just struggling.
But is it just the moment on which you think, oh, now I'm playing live and I'm actually thinking a lot? Is that the moment where you think, oh, that's when it's not fun anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that, well, my music requires a lot of focus. Like, you can just name a few things. Because when you watch my videos, when you listen to my albums, it's like, it's obviously it's a different thing when you go on stage and you have to do everything in one take. So it means the performance should be good. So it means I should practice the song beforehand, right? Yeah. I need to make sure that I stay in correct tuning, that everything is preset in the way how all my tuning systems, all this crazy stuff, everything works. I need to make sure I press the right pedals. I need to make sure that my cables don't fall off or sometimes step on the cable. I need to make sure that I'm moving a little bit, that that it's fun, that it's interesting to look at me. That I'm not just like sitting and not moving, that I want to engage with the audience. I want to make an eye contact. I don't want to like show with my face that it's so hard to play and everything. And all these things. And on top of that, stuff here is still pretty complicated. I realize that most of the time it's like I work on my limit. It's like it's my limits. Like maybe there's some younger people, I don't know, who can do even more and even cleaner, even better. But to me, even that is so hard. There's always something happens. Always something will go wrong. Oh, no matter how hard I practice, no matter how many concerts I will play, it's never perfect. And I'm like,
what does it say about you that you say, okay, I want to play on my limit? Like, have you asked yourself that question, perhaps?
Well, it came to me naturally. It have come to me naturally because the idea is that I have this song in mind with this particular sound and with this particular effects at particular sections of the song, right? So it might be different reverbs, might be different like whatever. And I have this super clear vision of how it should sound and how I think people should hear it. And then everything else is just about this. If I have to do the dance on the pedals to make it more expressive, I would have to do it. And that would be pushing my limits. But I realized that if I wouldn't do this dance, then the song would be lacking something. It wouldn't be as expressive. Like if this kind of approach, you know, like I'm trying to serve the song. If the song is so complicated that to make it convincing. Convincing is a good word. So it should be convincing. So people should be like, okay, I hear what he wants to say. I hear what he has in mind. And everything else, all the technique around it should be supporting this song idea. It sounds very pretentious. A lot of musicians say that, this is not about the technique, it's about the music, But the thing is, like, And I don't want to sound like that. I don't want to sound like, yeah, I don't care about technique. It should be the song. Song is beautiful. It's all about you. Play 3 notes musically. It's going to be so much better than 20 notes. But yeah, I'm doing technical things. I'm enjoying the technique. But I'm trying to keep in mind that, okay, you have all these tools now on my guitar, and I still want to compose catchy songs, catchy riffs.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
It's kind of a little bridge to the title of this of this series, 60 Scales and the Truth, because you have the saying 3 chords and the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the old saying, but these are guys I'm talking to.
Mm-hmm.
They have their 60 scales and the truth, and they want to reach that truth as
Mm-hmm.
well, basically, right? And hey, you mentioned in the beginning of this conversation, you moving to Germany. Yeah, I want to go back to that, because obviously that must have not been easy, right? Must have been a stressful time too. And have you left family behind there, or did the rest of your family also go here to Europe?
Well,
Western Europe, I mean. Sorry.
Well, I left just by myself because my parents are. Well, there's something about the older generation that they don't want to travel, they don't want to take any risks anymore, and they also have very sketchy position about the war. They're not super anti-war. Most of the older people, they either pro-war because of the propaganda, because of the television and everything, or they kind of in between because they don't want their psyche to break. And it means that if you, can you just imagine, you watch television, you hear this stuff around you everywhere that, something is good and something is bad. And then your child comes to you and says that, no, it's vice versa. And because of that, I want to leave the country. And the whole world starts to break. And to protect the psyche, they just decide not to talk about it. Like this problem doesn't exist anymore. So this is kind of a way how a lot of people react. Because to change the whole point of view would be too painful. It would be too much of a stress. It would be too much of a crisis. If at some point they would be just like, yeah, so actually it's Russia started the war. It's Russia who is like a villain, let's say, in this story. Like I think, for example, I believe that they started the war and they put the whole country into a shitty situation, and to say nothing about Ukraine.
But that must have been okay. You have the meta story of the whole what's going on, but on a personal level, it's much smaller than this, right?
Of
that
course.
Must have been
on a personal level.
conflicting.
It just the fact is that we don't talk about war. We just talk about each other because we miss each other. Like I call my family every day. I call my mom every day. It's not like we're super close. It's not like she's my best friend, but she's just really happy if I talk to her for 1 minute, just saying that, okay, hey mom, like I did this and that. It's all good. Like I'm alive. I'm safe. It's all nice. And because it's been already like almost 2 years since they haven't seen me. I mean, in person. Of course, we're always on the phone, and it's not only about family. It's like the family has to stay there because they still, I mean, they're pretty old. They're already retired. They all both in their almost 70s already. And, because I'm a late child. And, that's another reason why they don't want to travel anymore, because it's, when you're 66 or 67 already, like, they feel pretty comfortable there. And, I have my grandmother that they should be taken care of. And I have my friends, because there's a lot of friends, like the people that you mentioned that I was doing my latest album with, and we recorded everything way before the war. Just only now we released it, because it was the moment when I was still staying in Krasnodar, in my hometown, and we did that. And I miss them. And I feel like, it would be nice if we all could just see each other at least. And on top of that, there's this personal thing that it's important for me to stay in touch with these people, to keep, to nourish the friendship, even though we're far away from each other. And on the professional level, there's a lot of great musicians that I've been working with. And I think it's a really, really tough and bad time to stay in Russia as a musician, because obviously you cannot travel anywhere. There's no offers for you. In the country itself, there's very little money, very little interest. And it feels like there's a lot of musicians who deserve so much more, who deserve to see the world and to play for the whole world. But because of this, shitty situation, they have to stay there, even if they would want to leave. There's a lot of things that make it hard to leave. Like, I'm just by myself. I have no family, no kids, no job, no job. Well, I have a job. I kind of have a job, but for me,
the job.
This is a job. What's a job? Yeah. And, Yeah, so for me, it was, of course, it's a still stressful situation. In therapy, it's called a crisis situation, no matter how it goes, because especially if you leave your country, and on top of that, if you leave your country for these reasons, not because you were just, exploring the world and moving to your new girlfriend to another country or something. No, but you just literally cannot stay there because you're a refugee, kind of refugee, like low-key refugee, because still nobody's bombing your city at least, but it still doesn't feel good.
So you say stressful. What are your stress levels now? Because you've settled down in Germany. Are you kind of relieved? Like, okay, this is my new start, so to say. Because there's quite a lot of opportunities there, of course, as well. Can you tell me something about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, everything is pretty calm now. As I said, I love it here in Germany. I've learned the language. I can communicate with people. There's a lot of friends. There's a lot of opportunities indeed. So I never run out of work, never run out of concerts. I'm thankful to Baton Rouge people, to Klotz people, to Schlagwerk. All
that's your guitar.
That's
right?
guitar, and also other little things like cables, my drum things, everything. There's so many people who support me, like business wise and friendship wise. And I'm really, thankful about it. And, but I still miss my family. I still would love to see them sometime. And there's a little bit of conflict because of that, of course. I mean, it's important for me to express the story through my concerts, because like if you haven't, I think you haven't seen me playing live the full show, but there's a song that I dedicated specifically to that feeling, because I don't want
What song is that?
Well, it's called Home. It's from what's new. It's not published. It's going to be on my new album. And the whole idea for the song was just to make the story a bit more personal, because I could go on stage and, and be like a preacher saying like, war is bad and people don't do that. But I mean, you're a musician. And I think it's much more relatable when I go on stage and I say, yeah, there's a war. That's a really shitty situation. But what's really personal, what's important to me is that there are people that I love that stayed there. Regardless if there's a war or not, I miss these people because they mean something to me.
That's a strange thing about shitty situations, that it often brings beautiful music, right?
That's something that I found, is that sometimes you have to live life to come up with good music. And live life means going through the most terrible things and the most exciting things, and just live life. Whatever happens, to face the challenges, try to grow, just give yourself time, because there are so many things happening in life. You meet people, you lose some people, there's things like war happening or whatever, and you just like, you were never thinking about it when you were a kid, when you were just trying to compose your first songs. But now you feel like everything makes so much sense, because you can make it so personal, and then you see that people can relate to it. Because even this story about me missing my friends, missing my family, it's like, it's universal. Because, okay, I missed them because of the war, because I had to leave. But other people might find their story in it if they just went abroad to study, and they also miss their family, or whatever other reason. So we all can get connected through this, macrocosm.
So Home is the name of the song. Right? When you're going to release it, you already know that?
Oh, it's going to be on my next album. Like all the songs that I play live now, they're new. I composed like 15 new songs that I play on every concert. I'm really proud of each of them. Most of them have really personal stories behind them, and I'm gonna slowly start recording everything in December. So hopefully by the end of the next year, it's gonna be out.
Can you tell me something about the way you're developing as a songwriter? Because obviously you played arrangements of songs that already exist, right? Are you gravitating more towards writing your own stuff in the future? Because you've already did that, of course, but is that what you're going to do more?
Well, that's a good question, because, and I'm thankful, appreciate that you will know that I've been composing a lot of music. And to me, that was the very reason I started doing, music in general. I started playing guitar because I got inspired from all these people, as I mentioned, Don Ross, Andy McKee, John Gum. All these guys do original music, and they always been playing original music, traveling with original music. They didn't need to do covers. And I started to do covers just because I realized that, okay, they just bring me views on the internet, and I'm like, cool, okay, I'm gonna do more. And this is something I think it's very important to mention, is that I have no personal connection to all the songs. It's like most of the songs that I covered, it's like only one or two that I personally love, because it's like, why should I cover the song that I love? Because I'm gonna ruin it. There's a reason for that. The reason that I love the lyrics, that I love the vocal delivery and everything. So
that's interesting, because Mike Dawsey was in this series as well, and he said basically the other way around, because he said if you're going to arrange a song as a fingerstyle guitarist, you're going to have to love the song because you're going to listen to it so much that if you don't like it, you're going to have a hard time. So,
to me, how I handled that is that every song is a vehicle. So you hear some idea in it. You want to you think, okay, I can play bass this way, I can play drum this way, and whatever. So you don't think about music. You think about how to do it technically. And then when everything gets together, like a pieces of puzzle get together, you're like, oh, cool, wow, it works, it's fun. I never did it like that in this way, and technically it's interesting. For the song, I mean, it's not like I hate those songs, but I don't care about those songs. It's like, and the thing is, yeah, I arranged the song. I used to. It was a long time ago. All these covers that I did is from 2017, 18. So I was arranging the song, I was recording it, uploading it, and I will never play it again, never ever, because like, oh shit, why should I be playing the songs that I don't like? But they were bringing me views, and the whole strategy was that people who check my covers, some of them would want to learn more about me and gravitate to my original music, because my original music has always been there.
So you basically pull them in.
Yeah, but nowadays it's the strategy. I mean, everything works differently. Covers don't bring views anymore. Original music don't bring views anymore. You nowadays you can do anything, which is even better. So I just do full. Like, I don't even do covers anymore, because nowadays it doesn't matter. If I do a cover, probably it's going to get the same amount of views as my original. And the whole strategy was that, why would you want to do only popular songs? Because if you do a song that's a bit less popular than super popular, than Jay-Z popular, then why wouldn't you just do an original song then? Because, and to me, we were talking about it with Mike, because I was asking him about his new album. Like, look, like there's, like 5 covers and like 5 original songs, but you never play this original songs live anyways. Like, I mean, why? It's like, and he said something that struck me, is that people who come to the shows, they don't count like how many covers, how many originals you play and everything. They just want to have fun. So for people, eventually, it doesn't matter what you play. It just should be, they go there to get some emotions. And it doesn't matter if there would be covers or originals. But to me, this dichotomy, this difference between originals and covers is so big, because I hate covers, because I was doing that as a commercial strategy, and I always was rooting for my original music. I came to fingerstyle just because of the original music. So to me, it means so much if you compose a new album and then there's like 10 original songs and 5 covers, and you go on stage and you don't play these original songs, you just play these covers, then you're not proud of them. Why did you compose them if you don't want to bring it to the world? Because the world...
It surprised me that you say like, okay, I kind of hate these covers. Like, was there any moment that you realized, okay, I'm gonna flow in a different direction? Like, not anymore.
Well, as I said, it's not anymore. I can still do a cover. I'm super open to that. Hate in comparison to original music. Like, if somebody would ask me to do a cover show, like the full cover show, I would never do that. Even if I would lose all my concerts, I would never do that. So it's like, sometimes it's funny that people expect me to, I mean, the bookers, the organizers of the concert, they were just asking, oh, are you going to play like With or Without You, or like Billie Jean or something? And I'm like, yeah, I might play, or maybe not. So I still can play like 1 or 2 covers, but everything else is originals. And I'm like, I think it's important. I think, well, there's a whole philosophy. The world doesn't need new music, because there's already so much music, and people would be happy to listen to old hits from 70s and 80s until forever. It's not like, I'm not criticizing these people. I'm just saying there's so much music, and there's so much good music already. Why do you need new music? What for? No, you don't need it. The world doesn't really need it. But you come here.
Wait, pause.
Yep, sorry?
Pause.
Okay.
Because I want to think about that. Does the world need music? No. What do I think about that? Because is that true? Like, because that would be the end of everything, basically, right? If we say, oh, okay, we're there already. Let's
we
just
kind of
stop.
are. We kind of are.
Yeah, in a way we are. AI has already taken over all of our creative opportunities, but okay, it's an interesting point of view, at least. Let me land it. The next time we meet,
well, I'd love to know what you think. Yeah. But let me just finish the thought, because I really like it. I heard it from another guitar player that I really respect. That okay, the world doesn't need new music, and because and there's also so much new music. There's so much new music happening every day, because now it's so easy to release music. It's like nobody ever in the world would be able to listen to all the music anymore, and that's why you appear as a creative unit with your own music, and you kind of show your balls. You go like, oh, look, this is my idea, this is my music, I'm proud of it, and I'm gonna make you listen to it. Like, even if you would be like, we don't need new music, no, leave it alone, like, let's do some covers, do some cover hits. You're like, no, I believe in that. This is the best music in the world. I believe this is the best music in the world, and you deserve, the whole world deserves to listen to that. And you like, pushing it. You got to be so confident about it. If you are not confident about it, arrange the team of people around you who are confident about it, who would be able to promote that, who would be able to show the other people that, look, this is something worth listening. So this is the logic, because, well, and I was always trying to do that. Okay, it's hard to do it on the internet because they're just numbers. You think like cover gets 1 million views, original gets 10,000 views. Like, damn, I was thinking, I was believing in that, and it didn't work out. But on stage, you have all the time of these people to grab their attention. And this is something so valuable, because when I go on stage, yes, I take risk. I play all the original music, but I know that people are going to like it because I put all the effort. I've learned through all these years of experience that people enjoy it. They just don't know. If people who don't know that, I know that they're going to like it. And it just needs time. And I feel so much more fulfilled, because I said this difference is so huge to me. I feel like if I go on stage and if I ever play the more than 3 or 5 covers, I feel like I'm a jukebox. Why do you go to a concert to listen to somebody playing sub-product of something that's better? This is the whole logic. Like, I know only 1 or 2 covers in the world that's better than the originals. Everything else is sub-product to get views. And yeah.
Hey, you're gonna have we have to wrap this up, because you're gonna give a workshop here.
We can still do like 5 minutes. I'm really sorry. You made me really excited about it.
Yeah, no, of course, because no, because I know in a few minutes you're gonna do a workshop. I was wondering about that. What's the message you usually want to bring across, of which you think, okay, if people walk out of this workshop, that's what I want to give them, basically. And
inspiration. That's the best word, because I know that what I do now, and even what I was doing like many years ago, it's really, really technical. It's really complicated. So if like, even when I do weeks of workshops with the same group of people, it's so hard to teach that stuff, because, well, it just takes months. It's complicated. And but the good thing is that nobody should be repeating after me. Nobody should be doing the same exact thing that I do. Yes, I developed this weird Frankenstein guitar with all these levers and drums and blah, 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 but they serve my musical purpose. It's all in my head. It works for me. It doesn't have to work for you or for anybody else. But maybe there are some cool ideas that you can take and you can use in your music and make it better, and make it like, or maybe take my ideas and like, if you're like engineer or somebody, like, that's cool, but I can do it better. I mean, I can make it like more smooth, or I can make it faster, or I can make it sound better, whatever. And then they take these ideas, take all my ideas and make them better, improve them, make them your own. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing about my workshop. So I play something first, something that people probably have never seen before, like with triple tuning stuff, whatever. And then I explain how it works. And then I explain, okay, look, there's my drums here. And then I play another song. Or like, look, there's a prepared guitar concept where I take a literal DVD or CD, I put it in between strings, and I play the whole song composed around this effect. It's called prepared guitar, when you use foreign objects in between the strings. And then I'll say, okay, look, I use reverb, delay, and blah, 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 and this to make it sound huge and make it sound super powerful. And maybe for people who never thought that you could do that, they would be just like, well, okay, well, I didn't like the song that much, but this whole idea of putting something in between your strings and realizing that you have such weird new tone, that sounds exciting. I want to try this at home, but not with a CD, but with a piece of paper or whatever. Or like drums or something. I can do something myself, not the same, but I can add this type of idea into my own music. Things like that. So just to inspire people, to show them that, look, you can go that extreme. You can do such extreme things with guitar. You don't have to do the same exact thing, but it would be even better if you take the best parts, make them your own, and compose good music about it. Because eventually all that is about music. Like, just do whatever, but don't talk about guitar too much. Don't talk about pedals too much. Don't talk about wood too much. Just play. Put all these efforts into your time with an instrument. Because, well, eventually when you go on stage, people doesn't care which techniques you use, even which reverb pedal you use. If it's in stereo or it's in mono, well, yes, to some extent it's important, but not for the normal people, the audience. If your music sucks, if your technique sucks, if you haven't practiced with a metronome, then it doesn't matter which pedals you use, and whether it's cedar top or spruce top, or whether your guitar is 10,000 euro, relic, vintage, Fender, whatever. It's not going to be good. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward, man, to the workshop. This was a prequel to the workshop, some sort of.
Promotion.
Yes. Thanks so much for your time, Alex Misko, and also listeners. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Niels. Great pleasure. And we continue next time, I guess.
Okay.